I think Illinois is going to play a lot better this weekend than they did a week ago, but they did. I mean, they lost 63-10. They gave up a bunch of yards. And when you look at this USC team, they're just more consistent. And I look at the offense, I look at the run game, right? Lincoln Riley has finally kind of committed to the run game. They're better up front. Mark and I, we were just talking about Waymon Jordan earlier. Like, Waymon Jordan's a star. He was a number one JUCO player in the portal at running back. I think he's going to become a household name here in the next couple weeks. They're just better up front, guys. You know, they're playing better up front. I do think this, so to me, and I'm going to say this on the show, this is a prove-it game for USC. You have to go out and prove that you can win on the road against a ranked opponent, because the schedule starts to get real tough here over the next couple weeks.
Matt, you said it, a ranked opponent. And look, I don't know if it's just me, but I have this rule. If you get beat 63-10, you can't be in the top 25, at least not that week. Can we give it a few weeks? I mean, am I crazy here, or why are they still in the top 25, Illinois?
Well, by the way, Notre Dame started 0-2, and they stayed in the top 25. I mean, I don't know who's voting for these things, but I think Illinois is a good team. And again, last year they had a great year. They had a lot of guys come back. I will say they got really banged up in the game last week. A lot of guys went out. I think that's a big question mark in this game. I'm with you. Look, it looks better on USC's resume if they win this game versus a ranked opponent.
True.
So we'll see.
All right. Mark, I want to go to the Alabama-Georgia game. It's one of the many great games this weekend. Very simple question. What happens at Alabama if they lose this game, which, by the way, they're favored to do?
Listen, this thing could go one or two ways for Bama. You get this game, it could be a lot of momentum moving forward. You know what I mean? But they just have to play better on the road. They haven't played good on the road. Lost their last like 4 or 5 on the road or neutral sites. Haven't been able to run the football, but Jam Miller's coming back. That should give a boost to the rushing attack. Haven't been able to stop the run, but getting Tim Keenan back on the D-line, that should be able to be a boost for the defensive line and the defense in general. So this team just has to play physical. They have to bring an identity on the road against a Georgia team who they're tough to beat in Athens. So they have to have the identity, the physicality to go out there. They have the talent. They have the playmakers to do it. You just have to go out there and do it. They have to be able to win this game, man, because it can get ugly.
Yeah, well, yeah, I want to talk about if it gets ugly, because here's the deal. Like, they're the 17th ranked team in the nation. Last year, I think they finished as the 17th ranked team in the nation. There's, 100 programs in college football that would take that in back-to-back years. Alabama ain't one of them. And, the beginning of the year, there were real expectations. Obviously, at the moment, I think it's already fair to say they're not meeting them. How loud is the noise right now, fairly, around the head coach, Kalen DeBoer?
I think the noise is loud. You hear it. All of us hear it. And I'm sure they hear it down there as well. Like you said, the standard at Alabama is championships. The standard is not to, win 9 games or win 10 games and everyone's going to be happy and roo-roo and feeling good about it. No, the standard is to make a playoff and have a team that's capable of going to win a national championship. And so the noise is loud, and it's only going to get louder if they don't do what they need to do this weekend. So I'm rooting for them. I know they can do what they need to do. They have the team. They have the talent able to do it. They just have to go out there and do it. You have to be able to run the football. You have to be able to stop the run. All those things is an identity of your team that you have to be able to take on the road against a good Georgia team.
I would say, too, like last year, 8 of the 12 teams that got into the playoff all had multiple losses. You still look, they lost to Florida State, not a non-conference loss. I think this is a big game, but if you look at Bama's schedule, and I probably believe in Bama maybe a little more than Mark at sometimes this year. I think they're a good team. It is a different looking team, right? I mean, they don't run the football very well, which was what they used to do. Obviously,
Ty Simpson was their leading rusher last week. 2 weeks ago.
The 3, I think, toughest teams left on the schedule, they all get at home. To me, the SEC is still pretty wide open with Texas not being as – I mean, so I'm a believer. I think Alabama, they win this game. You better start taking them serious, though.
Okay. That gave me hope.
What do you mean hope? Are you
early,
a
guys.
Bama?
Yeah, roll Tide.
So why are you a Bama fan?
Because my wife did the Saban documentary, and I like Saban.
Saban's gone. All right?
His roll damn Tide always in favor.
By the way, watching a Bama game with Mark every week is like an emotional roller coaster, man. I was like, welcome to my world watching USC the last 10 years, bro. It is some dark times.
I'm sitting here like, this is what this feels like?
I don't like the identity talk. That's what is the red flag. They don't have an identity. They don't feel like Alabama. So it's pretty good. I like it. Anyway,
That's true.
Oregon, Penn State. in Happy Valley. It's going to be a whiteout. Everyone's going to be excited. But Penn State's not great against ranked opponents. Is this a must-win for Penn State?
I mean, we were just talking about.
It is, but if they lose, they're still in the.
But that's the thing.
No, must win. Must win. Remember, we do it theoretically must win.
Yeah, it's the weird thing is like James Franklin. You know, there's the narrative is yes, you can't win the big game, and I get that, and he's been pretty bad, terrible against top 5, top 10 teams.
4-20.
4-20, even last year. But we were saying the same thing last year when they played Ohio State. They lost, and they still got to the semifinal game, and they're maybe a couple plays away from getting the national championship game. So that's the expanded playoff has allowed you to lose these types of games and still make a run, which I believe they do. I believe they're probably going to – I think they're going to win this game, to be honest with you guys. I mean, I like Oregon. I don't think this is a must-win in the grand scheme of things. But I think, yeah, the perception – I mean, the narrative and the perception around Penn State is like, hey, you win – you're 10-2 every year, but you just can't win the big one. But I'm just not sure that matters anymore the way the playoff is set.
Is it a must-win? To me, it is a must-win for the belief and the culture of this team. Like, they just feel like you can't get over the hump against these games. 4-20, Drew Aller's 1-5.
But they still –
But if you lose this game, you still have very much a chance to go to the playoff. Like,
for sure,
you lose to Oregon. They're one of the top teams in the country. But I feel like it's a must-win just for the morale of this team, for the belief of this team going forward. You want to be able to – you had 13 players come back. You had Nick Singleton and Katron Allen come back. You had all these players come back. In order for them to have that belief and that confidence to keep moving forward, I feel like you have to be able to win one of these games here in the near future. And so it's not a must-win because if they lose, they still have a chance to go to the playoff. Like you said, they lost 2 games last year and went to the playoff. But at the end of the day, I feel like for the team within the team walls, it's a must-win for the morale of the team.
Perfect must-win.
Yeah,
Again,
perfect. You nailed it exactly. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Mark, you mentioned, I mean, the 4-20 James Franklin against top 10 opponents. Do you guys have a theory on why? I mean, he's obviously a very good coach. He got the program back near the top. But why can't they ever seemingly get over the hump against these top teams?
Well, for one, they're in a division they're in a conference with 2 of the last national champions.
Yeah.
So you go up against Ohio State, you go up against Michigan every time, and you have the good players to beat the teams you're supposed to beat, but they just haven't beat the teams that they need to beat. And so that's the difference right now. Can they do it? Yeah, like they have Oregon this week. Oregon struggles against the run. They have Nick Singleton and Katron Allen coming to town. So I think a lot of things are pointing in their favor for this week in this game. But at the end of the day, you have to go out there and do it. It doesn't matter what we say. It doesn't matter what nobody thinks. When they line up and it's good on good and they have players that are equally as talented or better than yours, you have to find a way to win the game, and they haven't been able to figure that out.
I also think, too, like when you look at this, I think Drew Aller is a really good player. He's won a lot of games. I think he's got NFL talent, and I think this is a big moment for him tomorrow night. If he plays well, I think that's just kind of like a big monkey off his back because I've sat with him. He's a great kid, and he's got the talent. I think if you look at, like, these teams in the last 10 years, they've missed, like, the guy on the outside, right? They haven't had they've had some guys like Hamler, and they've had, Chris Godwin years ago. But they haven't had a guy on that. Tyler Warren was the guy last year who was an absolute stud, and he's balling in the NFL. But they haven't had, like, the big playmaker on the outside, right? That's kind of held them back, too. They've just been limited in the pass game over the years. That's something that we always talk about. And then at quarterback, they just, like, they have to be able to elevate that. Like, Drew Aller has to elevate these guys around and be a guy that you can count on in the moment. And I think that's just something that we haven't seen in the big game over the last couple of years. Trace McSorley was a baller, right, for this team years ago, but they haven't found a way, So I think there's more to it. And again, like to Mark's point, Ohio State has been Ohio State. I mean, they've been outstanding. And then Harbaugh had Michigan going up, and Michigan is still really good. So they were stuck in a division, third in that division. If they're in the Big Ten West when there were divisions, they'd be in the Big Ten championship 10 years in a row. So, look, I think they got a great shot at winning this game tomorrow night, though.
All right, one other huge game one of the other huge games this weekend is LSU Ole Miss. Here's one of the problems with whether it's college football or pro football early season analysis. We bake into how good a team's win was over another team based on how good we think that other team actually is. So week 1, LSU beats Clemson. We're like, man, what a win by the LSU. The Clemson since then just got dog-walked by my Syracuse Orange. Turns out they stink. So is there any, I guess here's my question. Is there any chance, because LSU obviously hasn't played major competition since then, that LSU is, as far as its ranking, is a touch overrated at the moment, and Ole Miss maybe could expose that. Mark, it looks like Mark, I want you to answer first because I know LSU Bama, a little rivalry. I want to hear what you say about it.
Listen, man, I think LSU is a good football team. Their defense, they improved significantly on the defensive side of the ball, and I think that's something that I could be confident in going into Oxford, is that their defense has been strong. Now, Chambliss and this Ole Miss offense, they have been explosive. They have been electric, but they haven't quite faced a defense like LSU's just yet. And on the offensive side of the ball for LSU, Garrett Nussmeier, their offense has been kind of pedestrian, kind of middle of the road, but I still do believe in Garrett Nussmeier, and I do think that this offense will look a lot better in this matchup, especially going against a defense that has allowed 29 points per game and 200 yards rushing per game. So I think Ole Miss has looked really good so far this year, but I also think they haven't played a defense or a team that looks like LSU. So this game could go either way, but I am leaning towards LSU in this game. As much as I don't care about the Tigers, I don't care about Ole Miss either. But I think LSU is going to come to play and be ready to play in this game.
I think like Trinidad Chambliss is the kid. He was a Division II player. He's a baller, but this is a tough test. Like this will be. He is at home. This will be a tough test for him against LSU. But yeah, I'm kind of with you guys too. Just the offense. Like Garrett Nussmeier is really good, but their offense has been very. Mark likes to say mid. They've been very mid this year. So I do think it could be a higher scoring game. I like Ole Miss at home in this one. I think the line is what? Yeah, the line's 1.5. You see it right there. I think it's a toss-up game. But also Lane Kiffin, just some extra motivation this week as well. You know.
You're right about that.
He didn't take the over, but I didn't really
understand
understand what he was saying on that. Lane Kiffin likes trolling on social media, also getting the family involved, always questionable.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that, boys. You know, he's got some extra motivation this week.
This right up Lane's alley, man. He probably orchestrated this whole thing to get some juice glowing. You know what I mean? Like,
Lane is a smart dude when it comes to that stuff.
Trojans Illini coverage starts at 10, then it's kickoff at noon. Thank you guys. Have a great game. Roll Tide.
Appreciate you.
Thanks
Appreciate you guys,
All right,
man. Thanks for having us.
Thanks a lot.
More First Things First after the break.
Hey. Hi. Could you please submit your